I do want to ask you this before we get going, and I saved this for last, not because it's least important, but I saved it for last because I want us to spend some time on it. And I know you, and with your respect and love for the NBA, not only the NBA that we see now, but the history of the league. I know you have some thoughts on Jerry West. You know, last time we talked, we didn't know. We didn't know that. I think maybe we had just finished recording, or maybe it's like in the off day. Jerry West passed, 86 years old, and we know Jerry West. We know many things about Jerry West. We know the real Jerry West. We know the Hollywood portrayals of Jerry West, and we also know the silhouette of Jerry West. That's the NBA logo, and apparently that was one thing he was very proud of, is that the logo shows him driving with his left hand. When he first started balling, he felt like that was his weakness, his ability to drive with his left hand. So what an acknowledgement from the league. We're going to put you in the logo, and there you are driving left. What was once a weakness became a strength. There weren't a lot of weaknesses in Jerry West's game, if any weaknesses at all. I'm talking about as a player and as an executive. What are your thoughts on Jerry West and the life and career that he had?
Man, so many. It's not just the logo. Like, I think it's one of those things that because that becomes a brand, you forget that there's a man and a player behind that. You know what I mean? Like, he led the league in scoring once, and then 2 years later led the league in assists. Like, this is a bad dude that we were talking about. It wasn't just some random. It wasn't like we just talking about a fan favorite. Like, this was the dude. And it was so amazing, like, to talk to Hall of Famers yesterday, you know, both on and off the record. And they're talking about, you know, their experiences with Jerry West and how he had his hand in so many dynasties, right? The Lakers Showtime dynasty, the Golden State dynasty, what the Clippers were trying to do, even that stint in Memphis and bringing Shaq and Kobe together. Like, he has influenced winning on so many different levels, even though his playing career was largely defined by losing to the Celtics 8 times in the NBA Finals. And all of those guys over there, the Russells and the Havliceks and all of them, having so much respect and admiration because they knew how hard he worked at it. They knew how tortured he was. You know what I mean? And it's sad. I will say this. It saddens me when someone like Jerry West isn't a Laker for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
That like Larry Bird, we're going to honor the Boston Celtics when they win a championship, and rightly so. Larry Bird is a Boston Celtic. He shouldn't be in Indiana. Jerry West is a Los Angeles Laker. And at one point, they revoked his season tickets that he was supposed to have for the rest of his life. And they came up with some paltry 2-second statement that looked like AI wrote it. Like, this was arguably the most seminal figure in your franchise history. His blood is on so many banners in one way, shape, or form. He helped create everything that we know to be about the Lakers franchise, and that's the equivalent of them firing you on your 20th anniversary. You know what I mean? Like, I just felt like the Lakers should be so much better than that for the most important figure in their franchise, and arguably one of the 5 most important figures in NBA history.
No question, Vinny. No question. I mean, you think about his career. So, great college player at West Virginia. You know, gets to the national championship, doesn't win it. And I wish I had been alive just to witness this, just to see this. 1960 gold medal winning U.S. basketball team. You got Jerry West and Oscar Robertson in the same backcourt. Lord have mercy. I wish I could have seen that. And as you pointed out, he kept running into the dynastic Celtics. He kept running into them, and they never beat the Celtics. He never was able to get by the Celtics. And I wonder how he felt about winning. It was the first year, that Finals MVP, 1969, the first year of it. He wins the MVP as the player on the losing team. And so I always heard that stat, and I think I told you this last summer. And my wife must say, "Hey, you know what? This is the kind of stuff you do when we should be going to the beach. We should be going out to dinner. You're going
to the
on
vineyard.
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're going on YouTube. You're going on YouTube and watching NBA championships through the years." So I went back and said, you know what? I want to watch that. I want to watch Game 6 and Game 7. This is Bill Russell's last year in the league. So I watched that Game 7. I said, how does a dude who loses the championship win Finals MVP? I get it now. Oh, I get it. Okay, I watched it. If you never watched Jerry West play, even in a losing effort, it was a sight to see. And one of my favorite stats, bring that graphic back up of Jerry West, of all of the accomplishments and all the scoring. I think everybody thinks about the scoring, but if you bring that graphic up and you see right there, 5-time all defense. Mm-hmm. Like he was rugged. He was a rugged dude. He was intense. He was intense as a player, and he was intense as an executive as well. Look,
there's something to be said. There's something to be said, Michael. I don't want to stop you.
Go ahead.
He's probably the best player who's never won MVP, like regular season MVP, right? And he's also a guy up until that JJ Redick spat last year when JJ said all those players were plumbers and firemen. Jerry West was never one of these. Right. He was never one of these bitter old dudes who hated the way that the game was played today, who lamented all that. He loved on this generation of players. He loved on the Kobe Bryants and the LeBron Jameses and all those guys. He was so warm to them. And even if he had bitterness about his own career, he never let it seep out into his interactions or his appreciation for the evolution of the game.
Yeah, that's. I'm glad you made that point, because a lot of guys aren't like that. They just kind of cling to their eras, and because of that, they can never really adapt to what's happening in front of them. I will never underestimate the difficulty, the degree of difficulty for Jerry West to build those 3 separate dynasties in 3 distinct eras of NBA history. Yep. The 80s Lakers were nothing like the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. The Shaq and Kobe Lakers were nothing like the Warriors. So to be able to do that, you've got to have some flexibility. You got to have the wherewithal and just the awareness to say, okay, this is what, it didn't always have to be what the game was in my day. Okay, when I played, this thing was going on, but it's not like that anymore. I'm able to look at a basketball player in this current context and tell this franchise, this is what you're getting. A lot of people, some people did, but a lot of people didn't know that Kobe was on that trajectory. As a matter of fact, I remember still, like it was yesterday, I don't know why I remember this line from Bill Conlon, different story for a different day, but Bill Conlon from the Philadelphia Daily News writing about Kobe. When Kobe said, hey, I'm going to go from high school to the pros, Bill Conlon writes, I covered your dad. And I heard a lot of people say that. I covered your dad. Go to college, kid. And very dismissive of.
That hurts.
Go to college, kid. And so Kobe, it was no guarantee that Kobe Bryant at that time, 1996, was going to be even a good player. I mean, he had all the hype.
He was a skinny high schooler.
Had charisma and all that. Jerry West saw it. John Calipari claims that he was going to do it with the Nets. I think the Nets had like the 8th or 9th pick that year.
8th pick. They had the 8th pick.
They had the 8th pick. He said he wanted to draft Kobe. Instead, he drafted Kerry Kittles. So, yeah. So, but Jerry West saw, hey, Kobe Bryant with Shaq and see what happens. And we saw what happened. It was incredible. Look, last thing I'll say on it, and then we'll get out of here, is when you see somebody died 86 years old, you say, yeah, they're 86. I mean, time is not promised to anybody.
He had a good run.
86,
right.
Had a good run. But it's just one of those people you allow yourself to think ageless, will always be around. And you're still surprised. You're still surprised and still saddened despite the great run. So props to Jerry West. And I'm glad we were able to see some of the evidence that Jerry West and some of the flowers that Jerry West planted. All right, Vinny, always good to see you.
We're losing institutional knowledge little by little.
Yes, we are.
We're losing Bill Russell, Bill Walton, Jerry West. We are losing. Luckily, Kareem is still here. Luckily, Julius Erving is still here. But we're losing institutional knowledge, institutional pillars that should be respected, and they should be adored, and they should be honored.
Cherished, no question. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.